Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the Natty. We're going to be talking about the Nuggets and their situations that have been going on, and we're going to talk about Luka coming back to the Mavericks. So basketball has been in big swing right now. A lot of things are happening. The NBA playoffs are just starting. We'll talk about the standings in this video. The different teams in the standings have changed a lot since the beginning, as Denver has dropped significantly due to the fact that they have not been able to win games, specifically tough games against better teams. They won their last one against the Rockets, but they had like terrible losses against the Lakers and then the Trailblazers. Like the Lakers because it was close, and then eventually the Lakers just took the game. But with the Trailblazers won by 19 points against the Denver Nuggets. The Trailblazers are currently 32 and 29 in the West, which puts them at 12. Being at 12 and beating the number 3 team at the time, or number 4 team at currently, makes it so that you have a problem with the Nuggets where it feels like they're relying too much on Jokic on offense, and then on defense, when they have their starting lineup out, they cannot coexist. It's Murray. Murray's amazing. But the only problem with Murray is that he doesn't play, like he plays good defense, but he doesn't play phenomenal defense. But he can be out there. The problem is a few of their stars like Aaron Gordon and specifically MPJ and Jokic will not play defense and then on offense be super positives, but leaving 3 guys against 5 is a strategy that historically in NBA history has just not worked. The Nuggets, they have also made a lot of progress, right? But the only problem is that they haven't secured a playoff spot, so it doesn't really matter how far you've come in the season. At the end of the day, what matters is how you end it, and specifically how your stars like Jokic and your coach, which you just fired, Michael Malone, your GM you just fired. And it's terrible because when it comes to Calvin Booth, their GM, and Michael Malone, they had significant history of being good at their jobs. Like Russell Westbrook was their newest addition. They've obviously, like, Jokic hasn't seen another head coach that isn't Michael Malone. So having this collapse before the playoffs, a week before, like I read a statistic that it was tied as like the latest someone had ever fired their head coach. So when you look at all of these things coming together and you're like, what are the Nuggets doing? At the end of the day, the centerpiece is how is Jokic and the team going to perform? Keeping it going, the Natty Championship, NCAA, obviously, we saw that the Florida Gators won. For their sakes, by the way, I wanted them to win, so I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with Florida because Florida's, I'm from Florida, so I've already said that before. But it is true that even though Florida won, Houston put up a great fight. They both had similar records going into it. I'm pretty sure they had the same record. And then Houston specifically had a lot of momentum going into this. They had just won their games by like at least pretty decent margins compared to Florida. Florida in their past few games had like to come back significantly in most of those games before Houston. Like their matchup against Auburn and Texas Tech were pretty intense, and they didn't win a game by more than 6 points. Walter Clayton Jr. ended up winning the tournament MVP, and in my opinion, I do think that Florida winning was better because it allows for a new direction in college basketball, as UConn had the reign, and I feel like when Florida wins, it's good because we saw obviously before the Al Horford days, and back when Florida obviously won back to back, those were amazing. And now the fact that they're up top again, I feel like it's good. So Luka Doncic returned to Dallas. I really did like that because First, the tribute video was beautiful. Shout out to Dallas, because as much as they are still keeping Nico Harrison, still keeping Jason Kidd, and still keeping things the way that they are showing a lot of more respect for Luka. Luka had the problem of, like, he was getting constantly, like, undermined by the Mavs. Jason Kidd was talking bad. Nico Harrison was saying it wasn't a mistake and it was because he was overweight. They took away one of, like, his action figures, or like in one of the displays that they had up on their arena. So when you look at all of those different factors, you could see that it's like they were doing something to Luka Doncic where it was kind of like a sign of disrespect. I didn't like it. The NBA community didn't like it. We all banded together for Luka, because as much as Luka is on a much better roster now and he's having a better playoff position and he looks like he could win the championship, he did not choose to get traded. He did not want to get traded. He had just bought a house in Dallas, and then him as a superstar, which was promised everything, gets traded. For me, that was pretty messed up. I like the fact that he dropped 45. I like the fact that the Lakers won the game. And with that being said, the Lakers ended up clinching their position in the playoffs. The teams now that have made the playoff in the West are the Thunder, the Rockets, and the Lakers. And the teams that are secured for the play-in position, at least, are the Mavericks and the Kings. Like, that they are going in the play-in 100%. In the East, most teams already either clinched or are done, as the East obviously is less competitive than the West. The Cavaliers, Celtics, Knicks, Pacers, Bucks, and Pistons, so the top six is already decided. The Magic surprisingly made it out of the playoffs. Like, they made it into the play-in, not into the actual, like, 6 teams themselves. That was pretty interesting. And in the East, I will say the Pistons were my biggest surprise. That even though they are making changes and they are, like, going through a lot of roster changes with guys like Ausar Thompson, Jalen Duren, Dennis Schroeder, Tim Hardaway, it has become much better for them in terms of scoring, defense, and obviously Malik Beasley, because he's popping off this year. At the end of the day, I like the Maverick return. I like the game for Florida, and I'm not liking the Nuggets. Nuggets, you got to fix yourselves. Florida up top. And yeah, that's it for the Ball and I part 2. And I think this will be the new camera setup for the basketball videos, at least, because I kind of like talking into the camera but being able to also use my computer. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Subscribe, like.